welcome back to the shit show. Okay, taking a look at a couple things here, just getting everything sorted out. Got my beer. So this is where the one catch can is going to mount. So right now, the little ricey washer and nut is just threaded into where the dipstick is. So I drilled that hole out bigger than this hole, but I'm going to drill and tap that hole M6 by 1/0. If it's not strong enough, I'm going to abandon the dipstick and use two different mounting bolts on that. So this is where that catch can is going to be mounted, just like this position right here. That'll be for the it's a boost catch can. So let's see up here, got a whole plethora of crap going on. So none of the blue fittings are being used. I was just using those for mock-up. Then I'm going to order the black ones. So that's a vibrant one-way valve. So basically under boost, it pushes up the ball, seals that off. So this will be my oil vapor in, even though it says out over here. As I described in the last video, I'm going to be running these catch cans backwards. Not a big deal. I'm going to filter them, baffle them, and pack them with steel wool, so they'll work just fine. So this is where the one catch can is going to mount. So I forget what that was. That was like an old harness thing there. Got to do a little bit more work. So this is my wiring hider, my ugly welds, but I suck at sheet metal. But basically my two fuse boxes, battery, ignition, all my relays and everything get mounted underneath that box. All my wiring's underneath that box. So basically, once it's sealed down, it's a nice way to hide everything. So yes, that's where I'm mounting the idle catch can. So this will be the one that'll be used when it's at idle. So the two breathers are connected together, as described in the last video. That way on idle, pulls oil vapor this way, under boost pulls oil vapor that way. So get oil vapor into the catch can, and then into the intake manifold under suction there, and the other one's going to come out of that other breather. It'll be a forward running line into this fitting here, and then out of this fitting will be to the turbo suction pipe, probably on the bottom side of it with a 90 fitting. So doing pretty well with that. Yeah, basically all black fittings on this thing here. What else was I playing with on this? AC lines and power steering lines are not an issue. The stock power steering banjo bolts right onto the RB power steering pump, which is perfect. I haven't bolted it up yet, but I did have it mocked up. These lines here for the AC, they're close. They're not identical. So that's an RB line there, and that guy, that one doesn't go there. There's that one go. That one goes down there on the side, like so, somehow or another. And then this guy here, the factory line, would go right here, but and the other one would bolt down there. So basically this line needs to get joined down to this line and cut and TIG weld that in place. Not horrible, but that could be joined together. That'll be a job for my buddy. I gotta pay him back big time for this. And then I have the other RB fitting upstairs for this. So basically just cut it off at the base, change it over, weld it on, boom, we got AC. This is the AC line. So basically on this engine here, it just needs a good tack signal, and then it closes the relay in there, and it'll allow the AC compressor to turn on as long as the pressure switch is made. So that's there. These two wires that were cut off in there, that had to do with the old point ignition system. Then they converted this carb motor over to a like an electronic ignition that used to be over there. So the only wire I need off of this little loom is this tannin blue. So I'll probably cut that back and band it in place, clean it up real nice. One of these here is probably my tack signal. If I were to guess, it's probably this white guy. I'm not sure. I I got to ask around about this a little bit and get a little bit more information. It doesn't really matter. All I need to do is figure out which direction it heads into so I can intercept that. Pin 7 of the RB ECU, I'll feed into that for the tack signal. Worst case scenario, I pull the cluster and just piggyback on there and depin the tack signal wire that was factory. It's pretty easy stuff. So all this stuff right here, that'll be removed. I was looking at this a little bit. So the corner of the battery is going to be super close to the turbo. So this thing's definitely going to need a turbo blanket. And this is a pretty small battery tray. This is not the factory battery tray. That's the factory battery tray. But I was already putting the intake manifold into it, so there's no way to use it. So that's why I am using this aftermarket one. So I got this out of Australia. It looks like if I modify it a tiny little bit, I can probably get it to slide back about another 1/2 inch. Get a little bit more distance on that, but I'm going to see if I can get a even smaller battery on that. I'd like to get a little bit more room and then possibly weld a plate up on this. Means I'll have to send that thing out to get recoated, but basically make a heat shield for the battery. Probably won't get too long out of the batteries on this thing, which it's fine. I was just playing around with these little ricey bolts. They're super cheap and they look okay, so I might leave them there. So these are the coolant fittings here. There's one of them in there. I was playing with fuel filters and whatnot. So I was going to have 2 fuel filters. It's going to have the like the 30-40 micron count back there and the 10 micron mounted up here. So I'm basically going to have a barrel filter right here in line with this. That'll be my, oh, I thought I had to scratch, dog hair. Fuel supply, fuel return. So you can already see I got that 90 coming over. That line's going to come into the fuel filter, fuel pressure regulator here, and then return out the bottom there. Factory lines are getting abandoned. The tank is being modified right now, and I got an S13 sending unit coming my way. The only thing that really has me concerned on this whole car with AC lines is this one, because I've already bent this one up a bit. It's pretty soft. It's going to be kind of close to the downpipe. I might see if I can get some aluminum tubing and see if I can have someone replicate this flare basically and get crafty and basically take it straight 90 up. And it's also a multiple piece. So you see this AC line just chilling up here right now. It's dumb. Wrap around my wipers. So let's see here. Yeah. So it's not a flare, but it's like these things here, the O-ring fitting. So that one goes there, comes across the old battery tray, dips down. These things are super soft and connects here. So I feel like there's a better way of doing this. Maybe even find a way to put it on the other, bring it around the other way. I'm not sure. It's an easy fix, but it's not an easy fix. It's something that I'll work with. But okay, so both catch cans are explained here. I did forget about a couple wires. I got my fuel. I knew that I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to run the fuel pump, so I didn't run fuel pump wiring in here. I didn't know where I was going to mount the relay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the relay. I don't know where I'm going to mount it. I don't really want to put it underneath the vehicle, so I might actually put it up under the center console in the front there. I don't want to hear it, but I'll put it up under the center console. So basically I just got to grab the wire from the ECU, which is mounted in the glove box, or maybe I'll just put it in the glove box, and then feed that to the power basically from the front here. That's the wires that I forgot. I forgot to bring fuel pump wiring, but I did bring spare battery wires to that harness that'll be coming off the battery power supply, which is, I think it's actually this one, not that one. So I do have an extra 14 gauge wire available. I pulled a couple spares for battery purposes, so I might be okay. So I might have to do anything else with the wire. I'm just going to mount that plate in. Yeah, so she's coming along okay. I think what I'm gonna do now is I think I'm gonna get the power steering lines sorted up a little bit, and I have all my fittings on order. I can't do the fuel lines right now because they're on back order. Everything's slow with this Corona shit, so stuff's just not moving the way it should be. I do have to replace one of my motor mounts. I think it's this one that's torn, but I got 2 brand new ones over there. And my 4-wheel drive adapter plate's on its way. Thank God. It's on its way from Australia. It'll be here on Friday according to shipping. So I can actually get the transfer case behind this, start working on the transfer case linkage, get the cross member back in. This does not have a trans cross member in right now. The transmission's in. It's blocked up on wood. Kind of just resting. The pitch of the motor might come forward a little bit more. And I got to figure out how I'm going to finish cutting this here and keep it clean. I don't own one, but I'm probably going to have to go buy one. A little body buzz saw. One of those real short stroke saws, so I can put a line from here to here and then fold it back and taper that edge off, get that all cleaned up. That way if the motor right now it's resting against that when I put the throttle body on, but with the motor rocking back and forth, it was going to be definitely making contact, so I'm pulling out 1.5 inches of material. That way I don't have to worry about it anymore. And then the only other thing I really got to send out is I got to send that my wastegate adapter back out to my buddy. My turbo wastegate adapter, just so we can throw it on the belt sander. It has a warp to it, so it won't seal. Trying to think here. Yeah. Because this was a carbureted truck, I don't need to do too much with the wiring. You know, I just built my custom harness. I've already tested that harness. I am going to repin the harness though. A lot of work, but my blue connector is shit on my harness. So someone gave me this one off of a fresher harness. So basically what I got to do is I got to unpin every one of these, and I'm only using the blue piece. So basically this is a KA24 one, but they're the same as the RB. So basically I got to transplant all my wires out of my harness into this and do some finish on. I got 1 or 2 nights on the wiring. I got a couple nights on building fuel lines. And the biggest hurdle on this thing is going to be doing the drive shafts. I got to probably shorten one and lengthen the other. Oh, got my turbo drain on. My turbo feed on. Nothing's torqued down, but it's just resting on there. But so out of the block with a dash 4 fitting. That's a 30-inch line to where I have this dash 10 drain. I do sell those fittings that go into the block. You can also use them for the VTC oil drain and the rear galley for the heater hoses. And that's what I was working on the other day with the heater hoses. So I got those sorted out. I got to get a new one of these. This is just something I had laying around, but I just found it at the back shelf of AutoZone a long time ago, and it was cut short. So this side is just it's just a 5/8 line, but I have a dash 10 fitting on this side, and then this here is 2 lines joined together. I'm gonna go hopefully once the parts store is open back up, I'll take that to the parts store and try to mock it up with something they have on the shelf, but that's perfect the way it is. Worst case scenario, I put 2 hose clamps on it and join it together. I don't like joining hoses though. It's just more problems later on. More shit to cut myself on, and just more potential for leaks. But ideally I don't want this line here, I want it back further, but at least I know what I have. And then my lower radiator hose from here over to here, on this guy here, a stock RB30 Patrol is the same hose. It has the same fitting on that radiator. So I ordered one of those. I could have ordered RB30 heater core lines, but they would have been $200 by the time I shipped them. And I can go reference those for about 30 bucks. If you're in Australia, I'm in the States. You can probably tell by my voice. I'm in Pennsylvania. And yeah, so that's pretty much the update I got for this. I'm gonna do some power steering work here, and then I gotta remember to bring my Cummins tag in so I can order them stupid washers. And I don't know what I'm gonna do to get this brass fitting out. I'm at a loss. At this point, I think I gotta just split it. I think I gotta get in there, cut it, split it. I gotta get those O-rings. I figured out the hardware sizes. I could order an all new hardware for this thing. Yeah, it's got a couple little small gaskets to put on, a couple little bit of paint touch up. But the only thing I haven't done yet, because I've been a lazy piece of shit and I need to do it, is I need to send out my injection pump to get rebuilt. I just don't trust it, and I gotta get the lines back on it. Two of the lines have, the ends were kind of screwed up on them. I want to replace two of the injection lines. I painted them all black in one of the earlier videos, but in hindsight, I don't want to use the two that had the little marring on them. So, you know, just play it safe. Yeah, so let me do these lines. I'll get back to you. Really no updates on that. I'm just trying to sell the motor. Once the motor's sold, it's just going to stay parked for a while. Other update is I bought an R33 GTR. I'll be selling it, and I didn't buy it to keep it. It'll be like a flip car, so I'll go through, just do some service on it. And R33s are always my thing, so if you know me from that scene, I got a V-spec coming in. Pretty clean car overall from what I can tell right now. I'm sure I'll find some stuff with it, but gonna try to put it up for about 50,000 American. You know, it's probably gonna, I'll put a couple grand into it, I'm sure, fixing it up, but seemed like a good deal. And they have lower production numbers than the R32, so they're hot commodity right now. Like they're hard to get. They are, like, R33 GTRs just aren't as abundant. Clean ones aren't as abundant. Yeah, I know they're boats, but they're faster on Nürburgring, faster than the 33 and the 34, 32 and the 34. So might be a boat, but it'll walk it. Yeah, so if you're interested, you send me a message on that. Oh, the other thing I'm gonna do back there. So I have a 3/8 MPT to barb fitting back there. That's gonna come out. I'm gonna convert that to a 3/8 to -6 NPT male. Or should it be female? Let me think about this. I might go female on it if I can find that fitting. And I'll do another one of those vibrant ball flanges, and I'm just going to run an AN line to my booster instead of dealing with like hose clamps and all that crap. They're much better check valves than the ones that are over there. But yeah, so this thing's going to get cleaned up, and then I'd go back together here shortly. Not really sure what I'm doing on the heat exchanger yet. I talked about putting it in the back, and then I don't like the idea of that, because if I sink it in the mud, now it's going to be all clogged. No matter what, it's going to be an issue. One of the things that crossed my mind is this bumper is, it's 1/4-inch plate steel. This bumper, it's got to weigh 300 pounds. It's got a ton of real estate on it. I actually thought about getting a slimline heat exchanger, and you know, it's pretty solid here. I thought about trying to get one that's thin but long and mounting it behind the bumper, and but mounting it to the back, like back further, where it's back here. That way, drill a couple holes in here and let that basically let that be the heat exchanger on it here, and then put the tank somewhere else. Like I said, there's no room here. The other thing that had actually came to mind was putting a like a guard on here and mounting it, but it's just a little scary. I don't think I want it that far out front. The other thing I thought about doing was cutting the hood, mounting a heat exchanger right on the bottom of the hood, as I got, you know, decent amount of room here. Mounting the heat exchanger basically above the motor, off center a little bit. Then I got to worry about the lines going up and down, as you know, having all that room for it to loop around. There's options. I got some options on it. It's a giant truck. I'll figure something out. If I just deleted the windshield washer, reservoir, and some of this other stupid crap, I can gain a lot of room out of this thing. So definitely have some options. I'm actually staring at an option right now over here. My coolant overflow bottle. If I relocated that, I can actually mount it on the side of the hood over here. Put a fan underneath of it and blow it out, and basically just have the AN lines running underneath there. I got room to work with clocking this, so that's not really an issue as long as I don't dump discharge air into my my AC line here. Yeah, I might, you know what, I might be able to just do it right here. All I gotta do is relocate this, and I can put, it sucks because that's brand new. I'm actually pissed right now that I'm thinking about that. I ordered that from Australia brand new because the other one was all beat up. I like the fact that I have a factory overflow tank in the thing, but I can put a smaller windshield bottle tank or make a 2-in-1 tank that sits right here, and use that over there. And then I don't mind keeping the water storage in the pump in the back, or you know, underneath the vehicle. I got plenty of room for that. I'll play with the idea. It doesn't really matter. If I tuck the heat exchanger high up and have a skid plate underneath of it, it won't be an issue. The only issue that I'll have is mud. I'll have mud up here too, so which drives people nuts. Like, I did all this work and I'm gonna probably sink it in mud. Yeah, so I got some ideas to play with. That's more stuff as it's coming along. I'll figure it out, but I can tell you right now that that's a viable option right there. But at the same time, I don't want to cut the hood, so I'm probably just gonna put it under the back. All right, let me do some work. I'll get back at it. So got my power steering line on. Woohoo, a whole bunch of work there. I can't get this to seat properly just because it's bent here, but basically what I need to do is cut that flush and TIG weld that one onto this one after marking it in place. So that's the fitting for the other one there. And then, like I was showing you guys on this guy here, this is the lower fitting. So that does go down in here. Jesus. It's just loose right now, the compressor. I have to basically seat it right there. So what I'll have to do is, if you take a look at this guy here, right where it starts to go flat into it, or somewhere's on that bridge piece there, cut the two, TIG weld those together, and make one line out of it, and that'll be the AC lines. Like I said, compressor's loose, power steering pump is just not bolted down. Got to send out that lower cover for powder coat. I have to order some Power Enterprise belts for this thing, just keep it clean looking. Yeah, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this guy in to the house and just de-pin it. And like I said, these are all garbage. I just need the blue piece, so I'm gonna make a quick video on how to de-pin these. If there's a million videos out there, it's super easy. All you need is a small pick and 2 hands. But yeah, I'll go ahead and get that set up, and just in case you're wondering how to de-pin a harness or move stuff around, it's cake, and I'll show you. First thing you need is a cat. I don't know, they love this crap. So I like these curve picks, but I unbend them some. Get out of that. And a beer. Need one of those. So these harnesses are pretty straightforward here. So basically you got these little flip up windows in the back. You can use the tool to flip them up. I'd start to pin in the one that's already flipped up, but it's in the center, so it's a little bit harder. Usually I'd use a screwdriver for this here. So you just Pop them up there. You push the harness, so you grab the wire, you push it forward. On this end right here, right at the very top of the pin, very hard to see, that's the lock mechanism. So what you want to do is you want to get underneath of it and lift it up. So I'll go under this way and then force up that way. Yo, you want some of this too? Yo. So basically push it forward. Just stop. Yo, dickhead. Out nice and clean. So what I did, you can see like this mechanism here, there's a little blue tab that actually locks underneath of it. So what you want to do is you want to get under and lift up. So get under, lift up. You're being an asshole right now. This is Henry, in case anyone's wondering. I found him on the streets of Philly. I'm not even that much of a cat person, but he's pretty awesome. And it's funny. He's like a free cat. Like, oh, okay, I'll just rescue his little ass. Dickhead ate a pistachio shell the one day. Cost me 5 fucking grand. Yo! Alright, you want that wire? Here. Have him. You better not eat it. He's a good cat, though. I'm more of a dog guy. A lot of people seem to mess this shit up. I don't know how. These Nissan blue harnesses or blue connectors, a lot easier to work on than the Neo ones. Even though it's a Neo motor that I have in there, I'm running it off of a RB26 ECU, a R34 ECU. It's an Epexi Power FC. Nothing special for the Power FC. They're not great by any means, but they do the job. I've ran a couple different ECUs over the years, and I've had full-on race car shit on street cars, and that is a nightmare to deal with. What you got, Winston? Yo! I got the puppy eating stuff. Come here. You got wires too? You can't have these. Ugh. Get animals, they say. It'll be fun.